The Kirkistown circuit in Northern Ireland welcomes the Dawson Wam Formula Ford 1600 Championship for its next round. The first of the two races today is just a few minutes away. We're also welcoming onto the grid this weekend the Formula Shane cars. These 1.8 litre engine cars will start at the front of the grid. They should be quicker, but that means we get to enjoy two races for the price of one. This should be an entertaining one for sure. Well, Formula Ford racing is rarely dull with the inclusion of the Formula Shanes this weekend. I think we're in for a pair of fascinating races. It's the Shanes that line up first, so Richard Carney and Brian Hurty share the front row ahead of Sean Hines and Paul McLaughlin, then Derek Roddy, Raymond McKenna and Joe Courtney at the back. Then it's the Formula Fords, and it is Will Heron that has the pole position ahead of Ivan McCulloch. Championship leader David McCulloch is only third, with Alan Davidson alongside him. Then Alan McBurney and David Nicol, Henry Campbell and Phil Harris, with Jim Campbell and Robert Johnston rounding out the top 10. Chris Paul and Trevor Delaney will line up at the back of the grid. So getting ready then for the race to get underway here, the first of two races this weekend for the Irish Formula Fords and the Formula Shanes. The orange machine then on pole position is Richard Carney in the winged Formula Shane car. Off they go, down towards the first corner. It's a good start by the looks of it from the pole position. Also a good start from the man that lined up third place on the grid there in the Shane, Sean Hines. And it's going to be Carney that leads them down into Colonial. Well, here comes Hines up the inside line and goes through into the race lead. Nice move made there. Down there into the right-hander was Donald Griffin. He's also going to be a factor in this one, I think, as they turn now back towards Fisherman's Bend. There are the leading Formula Fords, and it looks as though number 27 is out in front, and that will be Ivan McCulloch. So Ivan McCulloch has managed to get himself ahead of pole sitter Will Heron by the looks of it, but already you can see this fascinating mix of the Shanes and the Formula Fords. They're actually very evenly matched around this circuit. Despite the fact that the Formula Shanes, as you can see here, they're still got improved tyres, but they do have front and rear aerodynamics, which of course is something that famously is not included on the Formula Ford 1600 car. Side by side then, into the right-hander at hairpin for the first time of asking. Looks as though it's still going to be Hines that leads the way. But look at this, the entire field absolutely together as they streak across the start-finish line, and side by side for the race leader Richard Carney makes a move around the outside into Debtor's Dip. That's a really, really brave place to overtake at the best of times, especially on relatively cold tyres around the outside. And it looks like he's going to go through. He's on the inside line for the right-hander at Colonial. A really nice move made there. Coming through was the 28 car, David McCulloch. Championship leader in the Formula Fords is David McCulloch by some 39 points actually over Alan Davidson coming into this round. So David looking good for the title as we move into the final four races now of the season for the Dawson Wam Northern Ireland Formula Ford 1600 Championship. 6 car there is Alan Davidson, the slightly older than 1989 Mondial that Davidson drives, and he didn't have a great exit there from the chicane, so he's under pressure now and could be about to lose second place within his class, that class for the Formula Fords. So there they go, onto the braking zone, and they're 3 abreast in fact, as the 28 car of David McCulloch trying to get past his championship rival. In doing so, risks leaving the door open for Will Heron, who had the pole position, remember, the red car there on the right-hand side of the road. Will Heron had pole, but has rather drop down the order here slightly. They're all going to arrive at Debtor's Dip together. And it is going to be Heron, I think, drafts past the pair of them. So Will Heron then into second place behind Ivan McCulloch in the Formula Ford. From there, Will Heron before into second position. Will is having a busy weekend, as along with a couple of the other Irish drivers actually, in that he's competing not only in the Irish Formula Ford races, but also in the national Formula Fords. David McCulloch, another driver who is on the front-running pace in both championships this weekend. National Formula Fords making their annual visit these days to Northern Ireland, and the Dawson Wam Irish Formula Fords supporting them well this weekend. Some great racing. At the head of the field though, it's still the Shanes, and it is still Richard Carney ahead. And, there he is, the number 3 machine. The orange car turns his way through the final corner, through the hairpin, back into the pit straight again. It's turning into already a very, very close contest here. McLaughlin now, the 35. He is 4th in the Formula Shane class, but 5th overall, because the car immediately in front of him, the white machine, is the leading Formula Ford car, Ivan McCulloch. The distance there, you can see the leaders starting to set to it, and there could be a chain now. They're still in the same order, still Carney ahead in the Shanes, but they're holding each other up now. So Ivan McCulloch is faced with a difficult scenario now. Does he choose to A, sit behind the Formula Shanes and settle for what's at the moment a fairly comfortable victory in the Formula Ford element of the race, or does he push on for an overall podium? You would imagine that either, since he's not really in championship contention here for the Formula Ford title, having missed the first half of the season, he may choose to simply attack and get the best result possible. He's in the slipstream now, going down into the hairpin, pulls to the right hand side. Looks as though he might be about to have a go there. So too was Will Heron attacking for a position just behind. And yes, Ivan McCulloch does go through to the third place overall and gets himself ahead of the number 2 Formula Shane car, Brian Hurty. Race back across the start-finish line once again, another lap in the books, and they're all still pretty much together. There are 1 or 2 stragglers further back, but some brilliant racing. And look at this, we've had the change back for third place now, but McCulloch's back on the inside again of Hurty into Colonial and elbows his way through. This was the concern for some of the drivers, that the 2 classes would end up mixing, and whilst it's very entertaining for us, it's certainly making life extra challenging for the drivers out there, who are both classes fighting for championship positions, of course. So we can't really afford to get too tangled up with each other for the risk of maybe ending up losing lots of points. So Ivan McCulloch getting his elbows out there, but maybe he didn't need to be quite that forceful. He feels that he's got the pace to get away, and of course put more cars between himself and Will Heron, who is his nearest Irish Formula Ford rival in this race at the moment. Will Heron still second in class. I think, yeah, just made a move on the inside of the Formula Shades, gaining further ground now. That was Paul McLaughlin he overtook. Black Machine McLaughlin has a bit more power in a straight line, and is actually able to drag back alongside. He's gone back ahead of Will Heron. No, Will sends it into the first corner a little bit quicker, and now Alan Davidson sees a chance to get up the inside line and goes through as well. Davidson needs to try and make progress here, because he is ahead of his big championship rival David McCulloch, but only by 1 position in the Formula Fords. Remember, they score points within their own class, so their overall position on the road doesn't actually make much difference. If they're overtaking Formula Shades, these Formula Ford drivers, it's not actually gaining them any extra points. It's only the other Formula Ford cars that count. And so, whilst there is now a car between Alan Davidson and David McCulloch, he's actually not making a huge difference to the points. McCulloch dropping back a little bit here, not showing the sort of pace that we've seen from him earlier on in the season. 6 times winner already in the Irish Formula Ford Championship this year is David McCulloch. Alan Davidson, having won the first 2 rounds of the season, hasn't been back on the top step of the podium since. Shane's, meanwhile, still remarkably close here for the race lead. Carney is not getting away here one bit from the challengers behind. Head through Debtor's Dip down into Colonial Corner, and is this going to be a chance for a move? Yes, around the outside, and Richard Carney loses the race lead to Sean Hines. So Sean Hines moves ahead of Carney for the overall lead and the lead in the Formula Shades. Their battle is starting to delay them slightly, and so whilst they were pulling away slightly from David McCulloch and the rest, that gap is now coming back down again. The chicane they go, then Hines, the green machine, turns into the right, through the left, using all of the curb, rounds onto the pit straight again. Alan Davidson there getting a wheel in the weeds coming out of the John Crossley chicane, and hurt his exit speed. He'll be definitely under pressure from McLaughlin again in that more powerful Formula Shane car behind him. Side by side for the race lead, and diving up the inside of everybody. Oh, there's contact there for, well, that was Brian Hurty into the back of Richard Carney. Richard Carney really didn't need that. One of the championship contenders this year is Richard, and he was lucky to get away without puncturing a rear tyre. In fact, retaliates straight away and fights back alongside Sean Hines as they go into Debtor's Dip. He wants to get out of there and get back into clean air if he can. They're wheel to wheel down to Colonial. He's got the inside line, but we know that Hines is good on the brakes and sails back through on the outside. Brilliant racing this between the pair of them. And so it is once again Hines back in front, despite the fact that I think Carney briefly had his nose ahead there. Still in third, or back into third place, I should say, overall now is Brian Hurty. He got himself ahead of Ivan McCulloch, and that's what was happening there at the hairpin. He was going on the inside of McCulloch, and actually in doing so outbraked himself and ran into the back of Richard Carney, and that could have ended up an awful lot worse than it did. What that does mean, though, is that the top 2 Formula Fords are now nose to tail. Look, Will Heron in front of us. We're at 1 McLaughlin again, but Will Heron, the red car in front, is right on the tail now of Ivan McCulloch, the race leader in the Formula Fords, and they are side by side into the hairpin at the end of another lap. McCulloch has the inside line, and Heron has to be careful because he's got this Formula Shane and Paul McLaughlin breathing down his neck, keen to try and get back ahead of these 2 so that he's back on terms with his fellow classmates, who themselves are side by side once again for the race lead, going down into Debtor's Dip, and this time Carney tries the inside line through the right-hander and goes back in front, so Carney moves ahead of Sean Hines once more. There the two leading Formula Fords, Ivan McCulloch and Will Heron. And behind, I think we've had a change for third. I reckon that David McCulloch's got himself ahead of Alan Davidson. Let's just have a look in the background. The two white cars. Yes, it is. It's definitely the newer Formula Ford of David McCulloch, 2001 spec Van Diemen. That is in third position in class now, whereas the 1989 Mondial is down into fourth position now for Alan Davidson. He's fighting back though. He's back along the inside, going down the back straight, but the more modern machine, you'd imagine, of McCulloch should have a bit of an edge in a straight line. Through the corners, the older car is a bit lighter actually, so it has a bit more agility through some of the technical sections, but in a straight line it's always going to lose out to Van Diemen, which does indeed hold on to its newly acquired third place. And they're also in one big long line, and because of the nature of this Kirkistown circuit with its two really long straights, slipstreaming is a huge factor in the racing here. That certainly is keeping everyone quite tightly bunched together. Attempt there getting through for Brian Harty, trying to get past Sean Hines there going into Colonial. Moving into the second half of this race now then, so starting to get a little bit desperate now to get to the front of the field are some of our usual front runners. This has been an absolutely fascinating race. We've got about 7 or 8 cars here still debating the top positions in the race. Out onto the back straight they go again. More with Paul McLaughlin once more, following this fight for the lead in the Formula Ford 1600 element of the race. It's the circuit cafe and behind the paddock into the braking zone at the hairpin, and Will Heron again tries the outside line, looking not to go right round the outside but get the switch back down the pit straight. But McCulloch has that one covered, and David McCulloch is starting to up his game a little bit here because he's now challenging Paul McLaughlin. Again, this is not for clash position, but it's a significant move if he can make it, because then he will be with the top two in the Formula Fords, and he's done it, look, around the outside at Debtor's Dip. So David McCulloch now into 6th position overall, but still third in the Formula Ford. Now the next two cars are for points, they are for class positions, so David McCulloch coming good at the right time here as we move into the second half of the race. He is starting to hit his stride. The chicane comes the second place battle overall, ending Paul Shane. Sean Hines just dropping away now slightly from Richard Carney into the clutches of Brian Hurty. The exit of the chicane, Green Machine does pull away, and so once more I think the most likely overtake is going to come from the Formula Ford part of the race, and once again a very defensive line being taken by Ivan McCulloch. Down the back straight, David McCulloch starting to move into view now though, so there's two McCulloch brothers in their Van Diemens, sandwiching Will Heron's Van Diemen, which is a year older than their cars. His is a 2000 spec car, the other's 2001 Van Diemens, so pretty equal in performance you'd imagine. And certainly, looking at how close the racing is, that would appear to be the case, and that's Sean Hines. Sean Hines is on the grass from second position, and he's done quite a lot of damage to the front of his car, unfortunately. The front wing has been folded right underneath the car, and I fear that he is destined for retirement. He's put a lot of dirt onto the road with him as well, which I'm sure will please the other drivers when they come through next time. And we've had a change for second place in the Formula Ford, so it's all going on now. David McCulloch has gone past Will Heron, sort of saw him teeing that up. He's now able to complete the manoeuvre, and is now got a car between himself, crucially one Formula Ford between himself and his big championship rival Alan Davidson. Back out of the hairpin they go. Davidson now trying to make progress as well, as Will Heron fights back alongside David McCulloch. This is all getting very, very frenetic now into the closing stages of the race. Down to Debtor's Dip they go. I don't think Heron was able to complete that. No, still the white machine ahead. So we now have a McCulloch 1-2 in the Irish Formula Ford part of the race, which has happened twice already this year. On one occasion it was David that won, and on the other occasion it was it was Ivan that won the other time. So they have shared the top two spots in the Formula Fords already this year a couple of times, but can they do it again, and in which order will they be? The crucial thing for David McCulloch here is to make sure that he finishes ahead of Alan Davidson, which he is doing. It doesn't really matter how far ahead, because he already has a 39-point advantage. And towards the braking zone we go again on board with Paul McLaughlin, chasing down now the top three Formula Fords, and David McCulloch outbrakes himself, slips out wide at the hairpin, and so for the second lap in succession Will Heron gets a better exit onto the pit straight, and wheel to wheel across the start finish line, and this is delaying David McCulloch and playing into the hands of his brother Ivor, who starts to pull away now in front of them, while Some nice battling going on a little bit further back here in the Formula Ford element of the race. Alan McBurney, I think, is one of the cars we're watching battling here. Again, side by side, these are some of the cars that I guess would fit into the classic Formula Ford racing scene. These are some of the older cars on the grid. And it is 23, David Nicholl, that's put himself ahead there of Alan McBurney. That was a change for position down at the hairpin, and Henry Campbell, the red number 90 machine, just behind, keeping pace with them well. Fisherman sent back towards the chicane. These three very, very close together indeed as they run down into the chicane. Henry Campbell is the best placed of these three in the championship, but actually he and David Nicholl are only a point apart for about 7th place in the championship coming into this weekend. So between themselves, they're having a nice private battle there for that position. Davidson there at the inside of McCulloch, that was a nice move, and hard to outbrake a Formula Shane car as well, because it does have that rear downforce which helps it to slow down better, and the front wing helps it to turn in a bit earlier, so it takes some doing to outbrake a Formula Shane car in a Formula Ford car. That's exactly what Alan Davidson did. So now the top 4 Formula Fords are together again, at least position-wise, but there is a bit of separation up between the top 2 in class and then 3rd and 4th in class. To the final lap then go the race leaders. Meanwhile, the battle going on further down the Formula Ford order is still equally as close, but no change in the position at the moment, so it looks as though it's going to be Nicholl, McBurney and Campbell the order. They've still got a bit of racing to do. The chicane, McBurney has a little peek to the inside, but there's just no way through, so another chance to try and get in the slipstream down the back straight, have a go maybe into the braking zone at the hairpin. Certainly towing up behind him, and he goes to the inside line. Disappear from view though as the checkered flag is waved for Richard Carney. Richard Carney then wins the Formula Shane part of the race and takes the overall race victory. Ivan McCulloch, 3rd place overall, wins in the Formula Fords, and Alan Davidson, crucially, got himself ahead of Will Heron on the line, so he comes home 3rd in class. So in the Shanes, it's Carney from Hurty from McLaughlin, the top 3. Derek Roddy and Raymond McKenna are rounding out the top 5, although McKenna actually was an on-finisher. Sean Hines and Joe Courtney joining him in the pit lane. Ivor and David McCulloch 1-2 in the Formula Ford, with Alan Davidson pipping Will Heron to 3rd place by 1/10 of a second. David Nicholl rounds out the top 5. Philip Harris was at the back of the field, but all of the Formula Ford drivers managed to get to the flag in what was a thoroughly entertaining race. Richard, congratulations, race victory in Formula Shane Race 1. There's no such thing as an easy win in that class though, is there?
No, all cars are extremely evenly matched. It's very hard to get away, and around Kirkistown the toe is such a big thing, so when you lead it's quite hard to keep a lead with the long straights and the toe, but we got there.
You've got to be able to defend into that hairpin, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of oil put down from the previous race, so you couldn't take your conventional line, or at least I wasn't going to chance it just in case, but look, we done enough, and luckily enough by that win I managed to win the Northern Ireland Formula Shane Championship today now as well, so it's really good.
Oh, brilliant. Nice to do it with the win as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, real way to do it. So it takes the pressure off for our second race. I'm leading our main championship as well, so maybe another 1st place and put one hand on the main trophy as well today.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations on the win, and let's go and get another one.
Thanks a million. Cheers.
Ivor, congratulations. A race victory here at Kirkistown. That was frenetic stuff though for pretty much the entire race.
It was kind of hectic. I made a break and got away at the start, and then the other cars just started messing me up. They kept pulling away from me in the straight, and then they were slowing them in the corners, so they just held the whole thing up on me, and the guys caught back up on me, so it's just one of those things.
You've only done a part season this year, haven't you? So it must be nice when you do come and race that you're on pace.
Yeah, we've only done a part season. We're just sort of getting ourselves geared up, make sure everything's right for the festival in the Walter Hayes. So we're going to hopefully hit it with a bang this year.
Well, I think that was good practice for those events, which are always very close, aren't they? This championship, though, the Dawson Wam Championship, is equally competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got 3-4 guys there doing all the same times. Like it's nose to tail racing, so it's good.
Your thoughts for race 2? Obviously, a repeat result would be nice. How likely is that, do you think?
I think the race 2 will start from pole, but we're going to have to maybe sort out the gridding, maybe leave a longer gap between the cars, because whenever I went into the first corner, like I was past maybe 3 or 4 of them before the first corner, so it just sort of, we need to make a bigger gap. So.
Well, good stuff. Nice win anyway, and good luck for race 2.
Okay, thank you.
David, congratulations. Second place finish. You were leading the championship coming into this race as well, so a solid podium finish is all you could ask for, really.
Yeah, it's all it is. Just trying to keep the points sort of up and maybe trying to finish in front of Alan, the closest guy to me in the championship. Although I got into a bit more of a battle than what I would like to in that race there, so that. But I can trust the boys around me. Like, they're pretty clean in the driving and that there. And if they do touch, it's not intentional. It's just an accident. So it is. So yeah, it was an entertaining race now from where I was sitting at. So it was. But yeah, no, I'm happy enough with the podium. So I'm maybe go one step higher in the next one. I'll be happy enough. So.
A race win would be nice, but how much of a risk are you willing to take for that win? Because you need the points, don't you?
Yeah, I'm not really willing to take that bigger risk, but if a chance comes, I'll maybe go for it. Like, it's just end of the year near enough, and 3 more races left, and I've got a quite cushy sort of lead in the championship. So if it comes up, I'll maybe go for it, but we'll see when it comes to that point. So.
Well done on the podium, and best of luck for race 2.
Thank you.
Well, Alan, third place, some good points, but I'm sure you'd have rather beaten David there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a action-packed race for us now. Those sheens in the middle of it really messed us up a bit. We're trying to stay on those guys, so hopefully they'll change something about it for next time.
I mean, I can imagine it did make life more complicated for you, but made it very entertaining for us watching.
Yeah, but you want to race your own cars, you don't want to race in our class, so you end up battling with somebody you're not even the same race as. It's just costing you time. So hopefully next race is a bit tighter at the front, just the 3 of us or 4 of us.
All things considered, then, a safe race, a clean race, you don't seem to have any damage, so that's the main thing, isn't it? On to race 2 now.
On to race 2 and hope for the best.
Best of luck.
Thank you.